yesterday, I'm trying to get my sound to work so that I can have my calculator over here and my thing recording. So hopefully this is working right now. Yesterday, I think I have my stuff still saved in my calculator. Where do you go to the equations? Where do you go to the equations that we typed in? What button do you click? Y equals. Okay, everybody go to your Y equals. It may or may not be there. If you deleted them, that's fine. We're going to go to a different problem. I'm just kind of reviewing of where all these buttons are. So Y equals is where our equations are. What we did was we set this guy. Whoop, where am I at? Right here. Right here, example 1, we set the absolute value on the left side equal to y1, the x cubed function on our y2, and then when we hit graph, my graph I think is all the way zoomed in. If it will go, there we go. We are zoomed in. I am zoomed all the way in, and we're trying to figure out where they intersect. That's the solution for x. Do you remember how to make it find like where that dot is at? What can I hit? I can hit the trace button or zoom, and it will give me like little crosshair cursors.
Mine's really weird.
If I hit, let's see, the trace key, it's not, there we go. Okay, if I hit the trace key, I can go back and forth and I can solve for x, and that x is what I want. We said it was about 2.2 yesterday. Where they cross each other. 2.2 is what we got. What's up? Okay, so turn your stat plot off.
I'll fix it.
Okay. All right, so going back to the second method, which is the x-intercept method. I don't know if you can see me very well. There we go. X-intercept method is the method that you guys are going to like probably better than the one that we did yesterday. Here, it involves just a little bit of work beforehand, but it's easier to see. So rather than looking at where two things are intersecting, you're looking at where it intersects the x-axis. It's a little bit easier to find, okay? So we're going to practice the x-intercept method with this equation down here at the bottom. I'm really delayed, sorry. Example 2. We need to, first and foremost, for the intercept method, step number 1, put all values on one side of equal sign. Okay, I'm writing, it's going to be delayed maybe. No, I don't think so. I think Tegan just stole my last one. So put all the values on one side of the equal sign. So which direction would you like to move? Put all values on one side of the equal sign. So here's my equation. Which direction? This is the x-intercept method. Which direction would you like to move stuff?
Right.
You want to move everything to the right?
I don't know actually. What? Doesn't really matter.
Let's move everything to the left just because x to the 5th power is the highest power and he's positive on the left side. Does that make sense? So let's go ahead and move everything to the left. So if I move these guys over here, I'll still have x to the 5th power, but what will come next? Minus x to the 3rd, because he'll be negative now, okay? Plus x squared minus 5. Do you see how we did that? The x cubed and the 5 will become negative. I'll zoom in a little bit. Okay? And what will that be equal to? 0. So what we're doing now is we have one equation where we're trying to see where it's equal to 0. And where it's equal to 0 will be, like let's say this is the graph. Where it's equal to 0 is at these points, right? Okay? I don't know if that's what the graph looks like. Don't graph that thing. Okay? But that's what we're trying to find is when we graph this guy, where he is equal to 0 is where he crosses that line. That's what we're trying to find, the x-intercepts. Okay? What? This is not the graph of what that thing looks like. I'm just saying. No, correct. They're not the same. Yes. Okay. So what we want to do is on our calculator, go to your y equals button, clear all of your junk out of your y equals. So you want to go up to the first equation, hit clear. Maybe if my button works. Come on. Clear. Go down to the second. It's really taking me a while because we're recording. Okay. Then go back up to the first equation or wherever you want to put it, and we're going to type this entire thing in there. So x to the 5th minus x to the 3rd plus x squared, that type of thing. Okay.
Why did we change the plus 5 to minus 5?
Okay, because when you move it over to the other side, it's like subtracting 5. Yep. Okay. So type that in. X to the 5th minus x to the 3rd. Mine didn't go to the 3rd. to the third plus x squared plus 5. No, minus 5. Minus 5. Minus 5. There we go. Okay? Type him in. That's what we're looking for. Okay? So, step number 2. Do you guys like the steps?
Yes.
Step number 2. Type equation into y1. And if it helps, I'll put y equals button. If you need to know where the y1 is. Y equals button. Okay? So you put that one equation into the y1. Okay? Now what do you think we're going to do?
Graph it.
Window.
Let's change our window first because I think our window is still zoomed in. So we'll change window and graph. We'll do both of those at the same time.
Let's do negative 5, 5. Wait, what is this? Let's do. Are we just gonna?
Should we do negative 10 to 10? We'll try it and see if we get the full picture. So window, let's go negative 10. Make sure you're using the negative button and not the minus button because it will say I hate you if you don't. Negative 10 to 10.
There's only.
Negative 10
That's not what
to
yours
10.
looks like, though.
graph. Okay? Negative 10 to 10, negative 10 to 10. Ah!
Mine says error. It's because you're doing the line.
Okay.
He's so pretty.
Wow.
I really like watching it.
Okay? All right. Good? How many solutions are we going to have? One. There's only one place where he crosses the x-axis, right? Only one place, okay? It's over there kind of on the right side. Okay, I'm going to teach you how to get really, really, really close to the exact answer. So this is just a little bit different of a procedure. We're going to first zoom in. We're going to zoom in lots and lots and lots. So go to your zoom button. Zoom in. And we're going to scroll over and we're going to zoom, zoom, zoom on that point. Okay, so I'm going to hit enter. Maybe. The point where he crosses. So go over to zoom in on the point where he crosses. Okay, you might even want to zoom in again and again and again. Oh, he's still going. There we go. Okay, my little crosshairs, I'm going to move him over to the left a little bit. And I'm going to zoom him again.
Don't we just trace it after that?
Okay, you can trace it. If you're already set to zoom, it will bring up your X and Y already, so you don't necessarily have to hit trace because he's already on there. Okay, so we want to know where he's touching, right? Like 1.42-ish. Okay, if I hit the trace button, let's see what we've got.
It doesn't get it exactly up there.
It doesn't get it exactly up there?
No.
Yeah, on the trace button, it doesn't quite exactly. Okay, so let's go 1.42, and I'm going to teach you how to do this just a little bit different. Okay, so I'm going to guess x equals 1.42-ish, right? 1.42-ish. Okay?
Where are we putting that?
I'm going to put it there. Blah, 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 right there. 1.42-ish. It's still, there you go. Okay, now what I'm going to do is, do you guys remember the table feature when we did sequences? We did like a table and then it would bring up like the first term is this, the second term is this, okay? We're going to do a table, but before we do a table, I want you to go to the table set button, which is second window, okay? So go second window. Okay? Second window. Shift or second window. Which will go to table set, okay? And I want the table to start. This says table start. I want to start it at 1.42 because that's where I'm guessing is pretty close to the actual number, 1.42. Okay, but I want to go by ones because it's going to go 1.42, 2.42, 3.42, 4.42. I want it to go by 0.001 because then that's going to give me 3 decimal places instead of just 2. Does that make sense? It's going to start me at 1.42 and it's going to give me 3 decimal places instead of just 2. Okay? So fix those, change those. 1.42 and 0.001 is what you want your change table to be. Good?
Yeah.
Questions?
Do we need to write this down?
We will here in a second. Okay. Then we're gonna go second graph. Ah, I hit too hard. Second graph. Did it go? I can't tell if mine touched it. Nope, it didn't. Second. Ah, come on. Hit your second graph.
I've been saying the graph.
Yeah.
That's what you want. That's what you want. Mine is not clicking like it's supposed to. Second graph. There we go. Now that's what I want. Okay. Okay, now check this out. 1.42 is where we started, then it's going to go 1.421, 1.422, 1.423. We want the y coordinate to be 0 because that's where the x-axis is hitting, right? Okay, but none of these values are exactly at 0. They get awfully close to 0.
So find
But
0.
we find 0, okay? 0 is right in between these two numbers. Do you see that negative and positive right there? Okay, between negative 0.0045 and positive whatever that number is. Between these two values right here. Okay, so if I want to get even closer than 1.42, what would be the closest value? 1.42 what? Which one's closer? Okay, is negative 0.0045 closer to 0 or 0.0128 closer to 0? The negative one, because it's closer to 0, right? More decimal places, that means he's closer to 0. Okay, so if I want to get even closer, it's actually negative. It's actually 1.424, right? Okay, if I want to go 3 decimal places, this 1.424 will be closer because this guy's closer to 0 than that one. Okay, now if you want to go 4 decimal places, you would go back to your change table. We're not going to do it, but you would go back to your change table and go 0.0001, and then you could get even closer to what the actual x value is. Does that make sense? Okay, we're not going to do that. Okay, I would say go at least 2 decimal places, but that's how you find where that exact value is. You can get closer and closer and closer to 0. Okay, so change window and graph. I'm going to say find approximate x value for your steps. Hopefully you're writing smaller than I am. Step number 5. After you find your approximate x value, you're going to go second. I don't know if you can see this very well. Second window, which is your table set. And I'm going to say start on the x value. Whoop. And go by whatever decimal you want. I'll go by next decimal place. Okay, so you can get it a further decimal place out. All right? Does that make sense? Okay? And that will give you a really, really close approximation for your x.
So what is
What the x value. Go by the next decimal place. So if you have 2 decimal places, like we started with 1.42, we went 0.001 for our change in x, and that will give us 1 more decimal place than what we had to start with. Okay? Good? Yeah? Put that down for a second. Next. Okay? Same thing again, except they're going to have us do something kind of funky weird beforehand. So this guy, we're solving for this thing, okay? And it's already set up ready to go equal to 0. So we're going to do that x-intercept method where we're trying to see where he crosses the x-intercepts. But one thing I can do, I can get rid of that square root beforehand. How do you get rid of that square root?
Square.
I can square both sides. So in my calculator, I don't have to type the square root in. I can just type this guy in. Equals to 0. 0 squared is still 0. So I can just type that guy in and then find where those x's are approximately. Make sense? Okay, should we practice on that one? MJ's like, no, I don't really want to, but we will. Y equals. Go to your y equals. We're going to clear him out, and we're going to type him in. x to the 4th. Okay? Because I don't necessarily want to do more work than I need to, and if I square both sides, it's still going to be 0 on the right side, but the stuff underneath of the square root will be gone now. So it's just kind of
It
less
just
work for
cancels
me
it out.
to deal with,
It just
right?
cancels it
When
out.
I type it into my calculator. You're more than welcome to type that square root into your calculator. You will get the same places that he crosses. The graph will look a little bit different, but you'll get the same places he crosses. But we might as well just type in what's underneath of the square root and see what our solution is.
No, because it's
If I
minus
just
one.
square everything that's underneath of there, the square root will be gone, and 0 will be on the other side. So it's just like everything falls out underneath.
It's just canceling the
It's just
square root
canceling the
out.
square root out. Okay, so x to the 4th plus x squared minus 2x minus 1. So get him typed in there, and we will graph him and see what he looks like. Is my window still set to negative 10 to 10? Is yours?
No.
No, because we zoomed in. Darn it. Okay, so after you type him in, go ahead and reset your window negative 10 to 10. It's just kind of nice to start with a negative 10 to 10 window, just so that you can see everything.
Wow. It's cute. It has 2.
It has 2.
Can I go to the bathroom? I'm gonna pee my pants. I really have to go.
Sure. If you're going to pee your pants. Oh, come on, you darn thing. Hold on, I got to refresh. Don't look at my screen. My calculator froze on me. It does that sometimes. There we go. 10. Okay, graph. Elena says there's 2. He's kind of cute. Look at that. Beautiful. He's so cute. He's so cute. Okay, so let's pick on one of them to start with. Okay, let's pick on this left side first. So I'm going to go zoom, and I'm going to zoom in. And we're going to go over, whatever. Okay, and then we're going to zoom in again. We could keep zooming in and zooming in and zooming in if we want to get it even more precise. Okay, so I'm going to, because we're trying to figure out where that left point is, where he's intersecting. Okay, so there he is. I've zoomed twice. What do you mean? We're going to eventually do both, but I'm just doing the left one first. Okay, so enter. I'm still zooming in real lots and lots and lots. The more you zoom in, the more decimal places it will give you and the closer you will get. Okay, if you leave it on the zoom button, that cursor, you can get him really, really, really close. Mine is at like 0.406 maybe. Negative 0.406.
How do you make it zoom in more?
How do you make it zoom like I am?
Yeah.
You're not moving your cursor over to where they cross. So as soon as you hit zoom, it will open up like a little cursor guy that it kind of blinks a little bit just every once in a while. And you want to move that blinker over from 0, 0 over to where you're at and then hit zoom. Okay? Because remember yesterday I said there's a difference between zooming here and zooming here. Right? Like on your iPhone or whatever, if you zoom versus zoom.
Mine's at negative 0.41.
Yeah, negative 0.41. Mm-hmm.
Where's that? Wait, since we're
Yeah, you did the right side one. Yep, negative 0.4. I'm going to go 406, which would round to 0.41. So we'll go negative 0.406 is what he is pretty close to. Okay, that's that left side one.
How do I zoom in?
Okay, how do you zoom out? Are we good with the zoomed in on the left side one? Okay, if you go back to your zoom button, you can zoom out. Well, I don't want to go over, I want to go down. Zoom out. Okay, enter, and I'm going to zoom out. What'd you get?
Well, I got 0.429.
I just zoomed in a couple more times than you. Yeah. The more times you zoom in, the more times the closer you'll get. So in this case, when I'm zooming out, I'm going to go over here, and hopefully the next time I zoom out, I'll be able to see that right side one. Do you see my little guy moving? Yeah, my little guy's moving. So I'm going to zoom out again. Okay, maybe I can see the right side one. Yeah, I can see the right side one. Okay, now I'm going to zoom in on the right side one. Okay, scroll over. Make sure your little crosshair, your little blinky guy is on the, whoop. I don't care about you. Okay. Right side one. We're getting there, we're getting there, we're getting there. Okay, now I'm zooming in. Enter. Okay. So I have to zoom out and then I zoom back in. Wouldn't it be nice if this was a touch screen like your phone? Where you can just zoom out, scroll over, zoom back in. Right? That's basically what you're doing, but you have to do it like with these little crosshair things. Enter. Okay, you can zoom in lots and lots and lots if you want to. I'm going to go over. And I'm going to zoom in one more time just to see what we get. The more you zoom, the more accurate you will be. If you never stop zooming. I got like 1.18. We'll go 1.184. Is pretty darn close. X equals 1.184. Okay, so MJ just asked, is it f of x? Okay, technically what this would look like is f of negative 0.406 will be equal to 0, right? The y-coordinate of that x is 0, right? Because we're on the x-axis. Same thing with f of 1.184. That x-coordinate will be 0. If I want to check this and plug those in for x into that equation, they should come out pretty close to 0. May not be 0 exactly, right? Because we still haven't zoomed in, zoom all the way. And we probably won't ever be able to because the decimal will go on forever. But we'll get awfully close to 0 if we if we plug that back in. Okay, does that make sense? So those are my two x coordinates where he crosses. Okay? What do we have going on here? All right, so this next one, example 4, this is another one where we're going to alter the equation before we graph it, okay? So this is a really ugly rational function. Up here we got rid of the square root. This little ugly rational function, there's something that I can do to make him kind of somewhat more decent, right? Can I multiply by the bottom to the other side? Multiply by 9x squared minus 9x plus 2. And if I do that, that will cross him out here and cross him out in the bottom. And then I multiply him to the other side. 9x squared minus 9x plus 2. Okay, I multiply him to the other side. So what's left on the left side? 2x squared plus x minus 1 equals?
9x.
Nope. What's all that junk times 0?
0.
Oh boy, that's what made it really nice, right? Whenever you have something on the bottom, basically the bottom side just falls out because you multiply him to the other side, which means you're taking him times 0, and 0 is going to cancel them all out. So all I have to do is plug this into my calculator versus plugging the original in. Okay? Does that make sense? Okay, good. All right, should we graph this one and see what we get? Y equals. You're going to get so used to graphing these, you'll just be tired of it. Clear. If I could get this to go faster, that would be great, but it's not. Kelsey, if you're still watching this, you're screwing everything up.
Oh, that is so rude.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. It's good that my computer's slowing down for all the slow people like MJ who are taking forever, right? Yeah. So we gotta wait for them anyway. 1. There we go. Okay. You can change your window. Scroll out again.
Oh, there's 2 again.
Negative 10 to 10. I wish there was a button that you could just click and it would fill in all the negative 10 to 10s, right? Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah. You know what would also be nice? If there was a zoom and a minus button.
What do you mean?
Like by itself. You could just click it.
Right.
Click it.
Well, you don't have to hit zoom in every time.
No, I know.
Yeah, you only have to zoom in once and then it will go. Okay?
It was just,
Graph.
It would just be nice.
I just did negative 10 to 10 on your window every time.
Oh no.
Window. Or not window, graph. Oh, 2 again.
I said,
2 again. Woohoo! There's 2 places he crosses again.
So cute.
It's so cute.
What's so cute? Why is it so cute?
Zoom in.
So cute.
I'm gonna zoom in on the left. So make sure when you hit the zoom in button, this is for Maddie. Make sure when you hit the zoom in button, you take your little dotted blinky guy and go over to kind of the left one. Otherwise, he won't zoom in the right spot for you. Okay.
0.49867021.
I got 0.99. I got 0.505.
Okay. Where's my little crosshair guy? Okay. Enter. He's pretty darn close to the. Okay, I'm going to go over. I'm going to say he's at like 0.99. Okay?
Oh, she's on the other one.
You got 0.98? Okay, is this negative?
Oh,
Negative.
yeah,
I'm going to say 0.99. Okay, that's what I'm going to say. And I'm going to put a question mark by it because this time we're going to check it. Okay, if you want to just watch me check it. Let's see. How do I check to see what it is? Because MJ's arguing with me. He says it's 0.98. So we're going to find out who's right. MJ? Do you think you're right? I'm going to go second table set. Okay, like we did before, right? But instead of starting at 1.42 like we were before, we want to start at?
I don't want to argue.
Negative. Make sure it's negative 0.99. Negative 0.99. Oh, I didn't put my negative in there. Negative 0.99. And I want to go by one more decimal place probably than what I had before. So we're going to see for sure. Okay.
Nope, it's negative.
So I'm going to go second table. Okay. And here's my table. So we got to figure out where 0 is. Uh-oh, it's not even on my screen.
No, you have to go down.
In my case, I have to go up, I think. Right? I have to go up. Because, look at the numbers. They're getting closer to 0 the further up I go. Do you see that? Like 0.01 is closer to 0 than 0.03, right? So I'm going to go up in my table. Up, up, up.
It's 0.099.
Oh, man. Oh, man. Ah! Negative 1 exactly. Do you see it? Negative 1 exactly. It's at 0. I just did 0.001 because 0.99 is 2 decimal places, so I wanted it to go 3 decimal places. Okay, so it's not 0.99. It's actually 1 on the nose.
Can I just leave it as no?
Wait, would you go to negative table?
Negative 1 on the nose. Yeah. Negative 1 on the nose is where he's at. Okay, I went to table set for that. Negative 1 on the nose. Yep. My negatives. I'll make it better.
Wait, what did you do after tables?
Table set. I started at negative 0.99.
I know, but what do you do after that?
And I went. So then you just go to second graph.
I'm like
Table. Second graph. Okay. All right. Should we look for where our right side one is? I'm gonna go back to graph and I'm gonna zoom out.
Oh, it comes out like that.
Zoom out.
it's 1.
Enter. Ugh. If I get this to go a little faster, it would be nice, but whatever. Ah, there he is. Ah, yeah, I'm going to get to him. Now I'm going to zoom back in. Zoom in, but make sure your crosshair guys are on the right side one now. So he's moving over, he's moving over, he's moving over.
Very fast.
Very fast. That time he went kind of fast. Okay. There he is. There he is. Up, now I gotta go to the left because he's a little too far. A little too far. Okay. Enter. I'm zooming in a little bit more. Okay. Is it 0.5? Exactly.
Yeah, because I got the table.
She went to the table
Yes.
and got 0.5 exactly. So mine says like 0.501. But Tegan actually went to the table. She started at 0.5 and then she went a couple decimal places. If I go to my table, let's just do this. I'm going to go second table set. I'm going to start at 0.5. It doesn't matter what I go by. If I go to table, 0.5 is exactly at 0. You see it? Okay. 0.5 is exactly at 0. So we're good. Those 2 places.
Yeah, I vote we don't do the last example.
Yeah, we're going to stop and not do the last example. Okay? Questions about that?
How did we get negative 1?
From the table.
I got 0.5, but I didn't get negative.
So what we did was we looked up on the table at negative 0.99. and we kept scrolling trying to get numbers closer and closer and closer to 0, it was 0 exactly at -1. Okay? I'll come fix it for you here in a second. So, just a little review. When you're doing the intersection method, these two guys you're plugging in for y1, y2, right? And you have two equations you want to find where they intersect. For the x-intercept, you move everything to one side if it's not already, and try to find where he's equal to 0. Okay? Good? Lots of stuff. All right. Now, one more thing. This is disgusting,
Yeah?
right? Plugging into your calculator is disgusting, but
Oh no, it's not that bad.
would you like to try to solve this thing,
No.
one of those things, by hand,
No.
not using a calculator?
No.
That would be even worse,
Never.
right?
I would never.
That would
do
be even worse. So, this is the alternative that we have.
I'd rather fight off than do that.
Okay, I got to stop this and see if